Good, happy Tuesday evening. Welcome to this Tuesday evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. We have a lot of news to get to this Tuesday evening, so let's begin. First up, lawyer for driver accused in crashing that killed 7 argueth for bail before New Hampshire Supreme Court. Vladimir Zuzovsky charged in deadly crash in Randolph in June of 2019. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9, Ray Brewer.
Roll with us and get a $2,500 signing bonus. McLean Concord has immediate warehouse positions open. Starting pay up to $18 per hour. Walk-ins are welcome every Tuesday. McLean Concord. Apply today. McLean is an equal opportunity employer.
If there are materially disputed facts, it's an unsustainable exercise of discretion to deny bail.
Vladimir Zuzovsky has now been in jail for over 2 years as he awaits trial. He is charged in connection with the crash in June of 2019 that took the lives of 7 motorcyclists. The trial court deciding that Zuzovsky was too dangerous to be released prior to trial.
Every defendant at some level is dangerous. The issue is, what is the level of risk that's unacceptable?
The court still has to find, by clear and convincing evidence, that this defendant was dangerous. And in this case, it was glaring.
The state says the trial court was well within its discretion in not holding an evidentiary bail hearing. Justice Hicks noting the defense has had a chance to make its case.
There have been ample pleadings in terms of the defendant's request for a hearing and ample responses, ample rejoinders from the state.
The defense contends that the trial court simply accepted the state's evidence as facts when they are in dispute, and that changes the level of danger Zuzovsky presents. The state telling the justices that Zuzovsky's alleged actions speak for themselves.
In this case, the judge specifically found that there were no less restrictive measures that would ensure the safety of the public or the defendant. After he has created carnage in an unfathomable amount and killed 7 people, seriously injured another, and endangered countless people that day, the first thing he does when he gets home is use the rest of his heroin.
Now, the case was heard by just 4 justices, the Chief Justice having been recused as he was Attorney General when the crash happened. There's no word when the justices will rule. Zuzovsky's trial is scheduled for November. Reporting live in Concord, Ray Brewer, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. First responders search Scatuate Harbor for missing swimmer. Police were searching the water around a bridge near Scatuate Harbor after a report of a missing swimmer who went missing. Video from Sky 7 showed dive teams and first responders searching the area around Edward Foster Bridge. The road and bridge are located just south of Scatuate Harbor. It was not immediately clear how long the swimmer had been missing. High tide in Scatuate was at 3:59 p.m. and low tide was at 9:57 p.m.
Vinyl flooring is luxurious and soft underfoot. Right now at National Floors Direct, get an entire room of luxury vinyl flooring installed the next day for just $788 and no interest for 1 year. Call 888-400-FLOOR. We'll bring the store to your door.
Okay, and that was video footage from Sky 5. Two adults, child hospitalized after carbon monoxide incident at Freeport Hotel. Let's take a listen to that video from WMTW News 8 Maine.
This is an ECMO circuit, and this serves as an artificial heart pump and artificial lungs for the body when those organs are failing.
These patients, if it were not for the ECMO program, have very low probability of survival. Via our collaboration with Lifeline, we're able to bring patients to Maine Medical Center for complex care, but also send patients to transplant programs safely on ECMO so that they can be considered for heart or lung transplantation.
Brought to you by Maine Health.
So what we're learning now, the two adults and a child were actually staying in this room on the first floor. You see those open windows over there. A carbon monoxide monitor was going off. What you can't see is the room right next to it is a utility room where maintenance workers are replacing what the chief says is a faulty hot water heater, which apparently caused all of this. Basically, those two adults and a child were taken to Midcoast Hospital this morning. Freeport Fire said that, Freeport Fire officials saying that an alarm sounded in that hotel room yesterday. A maintenance worker here at the hotel replaced it with a new monitor, but that monitor was going off as well. So the worker ended up calling the fire department's business line and left a message. Well, the fire department did not get that message until this morning. The fire chief said that the hotel worker should have called 911. The chief says when they got that message, they immediately rushed over here to the hotel about 9 this morning.
I walked in the lobby and had 175 parts per million on CO, so started to evacuate, pull the fire alarm, and thankfully everyone's out, and we hope that everyone's okay that was transported.
We told there were about 40 hotel guests staying here, and again, the three taken to the hospital, the two adults and a child, and also several others have been checked out in an ambulance. And this family that was staying right next door to the room in question is packing up and heading out of here because the hotel will not have any guests for the remainder of the night, although the guests have been allowed to run in and retrieve their belongings. We'll have much more coming up throughout the afternoon online and beginning at 4 on air. We're live in Freeport. Jim Keith Lee, WMTW News 8.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. $11 dead, 150 unaccounted for in Miami building collapse. Let's take a listen to that video from ABC News.
Movie night.
Should have been watching the stove instead.
Tell me something I don't know.
With your farmer's policy perk guaranteed replacement cost, your home can be rebuilt regardless of your limits.
That's really something.
Get a whole lot of something with farmer's policy perks.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
And we have a lot of news we want to get to this morning, starting with the latest on that deadly building collapse in Florida. Overnight, hundreds of people gathering for this candlelight vigil. Another emotional night there, and here's what we know right now. 11 people are confirmed dead, 150 people still unaccounted for, and this morning we're learning more about the possible warning signs before that collapse. ABC's Victor Condo has been on the scene from the start of this story and joins us now from Surfside, Florida with the latest. Good morning, Victor.
Good morning, Michael. We are now into day 6 of the urgent search and rescue operation here. There are so many questions about how this could have happened. Families still desperate for word on their loved ones as we continue hearing these incredible stories of survival.
This morning, officials holding on to hope, insisting that the search for the 150 people missing in the Surfside condo collapse is still a rescue mission, not a recovery.
Our top priority continues to be search and rescue and saving any lives that we can.
This as the death toll climbed to 11, 3 more victims identified. Overnight, hundreds attending a vigil for the dead and missing on a nearby beach. Now more than 300 rescue crews racing against the clock to try to find those still missing, battling treacherous conditions, one worker falling 25 feet down the rubble.
It's not an issue of We can just attach a couple of cords to a concrete boulder and lift it and call it a day.
Crews hopeful that as the building pancaked down, pockets of air or voids could have formed in the rubble, potentially trapping survivors, keeping them alive.
There's certain areas that we have not gotten to, but we've been able to place cameras that seem to have large enough spaces, voids, that occupants may still be in there.
Rescuers finding some of those voids, but unfortunately, nobody inside so far. Michael Noriega's grandmother has not been found, but 2 of her treasured family photos were just feet from the site, and that gives him hope.
We want to stand in the gap in the middle for so many people that were directly or indirectly affected by this, to give them hope that they're not alone.
This as stories of survival come to light from that horrific night.
What unit were you in?
705. If I'm in 704, I'm dead.
Steve Rosenthal was asleep in his apartment when the building started collapsing. He remembers his neighbors' cries for help.
People were yelling, help me, get me out.
He's filed a lawsuit against the Condo Association. 88-year-old Esther Gorfinkel, also lucky to be alive, escaping from her 5th floor apartment, rescued by a group of neighbors.
They picked me up, carried me on his back, outside, and I saw the sky. I know I will be out.
The investigation now trying to determine what could have caused this horrifying collapse. The Miami Herald publishing photos from a contractor taken just 36 hours before the tragedy. The contractor telling the paper there was standing water all over the parking garage, noting cracked concrete and severely corroded rebar under the pool. And overnight, the Wall Street Journal publishing a letter it says was sent by the Condo Board's president in April, warning that significant repairs were needed and that the building had deteriorated since the report, saying indeed the observable damage, such as in the garage, has gotten significantly worse since the initial inspection. When you can visually see the concrete spalling, cracking, that means the rebar holding it together is rusting and deteriorating beneath the surface. Now, engineers looking at this disturbing video, frame by frame, showing the collapse.
When I look at the video, I feel it looks like it starts from the bottom of the building and works its way up, or a failure concentrated at the support of the bottom of the building.
A structural engineer who studied the 9/11 Pentagon attack has been hired by the city of Surfside to inspect the collapse, but this will be a very long process. Rubble is also evidence, and it will be transported to a warehouse for inspection. But keep in mind, the focus right now, the priority is on search and rescue. Michael?
Absolutely there, Victor. And Victor, what are you hearing about the sister building?
Michael, that same engineer that I just mentioned has also taken a look at the sister buildings, the north and the east towers, and he told us that there was nothing that he saw that showed him that they were in imminent danger of collapse. No mandatory evacuations have been ordered, but some residents have chosen to leave on their own. Michael?
All right, Victor Kendo, thank you so much.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report, and that does it for this evening edition of the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Thank you for watching, and have a great evening. Good night and goodbye.